SoundCartel.
Tea, anyone? Well, thousands of people are saying yes please, making clean tea an Australian business success story. So just how do you go from selling tea at a modest stall at Byron Bay markets to $150,000 a month in online sales? From SoundCartel, I'm Nicole Goodman, and this is Business Essentials Daily. Jordana Edwards is cleaning up, not only with her breakout business Clean Tea, but she's also won 5 awards at the 2020 Oz Mumpreneur Awards. Far from an overnight success though, Jordana began Clean Tea in 2013 after struggling with breastfeeding her new baby. It was her mum, Amanda, a naturopath and medical herbalist, that created tea blends to help Jordana, which became colic tea and lactation tea. They worked so well that Jordana was inspired to help other mums on their breastfeeding journey. And so, with a love for tea and a desire to improve her health and that of others, she began selling just 3 kinds of tea from a market stall in Byron Bay. With her mum formulating and hand-making the teas, it means that they're all free from chemicals, preservatives, no added flavours, just herbs, fruits and natural ingredients. Fast forward to 2020, the success of Clean Tea has meant a move to a larger factory from Byron Bay to Tweed Head South and a truckload of awards, all in 1 week. It hasn't always been sunshine and accolades though, and along her journey, Jordana has learned some valuable lessons that she wished she'd known earlier, but we get to that a bit later. First, she tells me what sets Clean Tea apart from other tea brands on the market.
We're not just another tea company, we're also a gift company. So we aren't like normal tea brands that are focused on a B2B basis. We're a B2C. We really grew our business focused on direct to consumer. So we've built our brand with over 50 different types of beautiful organic teas, but we also offer 25 different types of gift box for any occasion, including birthdays, feel better boxes, a box of tea for your bestie, or an iced tea lover box, and many more.
Now, you started from very humble beginnings. What inspired you to start the business?
Well, in 2013, I was looking to supplement my husband's income and be able to support our family. And being in a regional, rural area, there's not a lot of work available. And having 2 children at the time, I thought going to the markets would be a great opportunity to introduce my products straight to consumers. And it's sort of what we do around here. The markets are iconic to Byron Bay, and so many huge Byron Bay companies have started there. But for me, it was just simply a humble beginning of a market stall. And it's a pretty fantastic way to start, actually. The very first market I went to at Byron Bay, my husband proposed to me at the Lighthouse at 5 a.m. the same morning. And so it was a pretty fantastic way to launch a business. I'm not sure how much tea I sold that day, but every single person who walked into my tent knew that I got engaged.
Of course. Now, social media in particular has played a massive role in the growth of the business. Can you tell us a bit about that?
We had no real brand identity from being a market stall. How did we present our brand online? So that's when we started working on the brand that you see today with its tropical theme, which for me represented my love for living by the beach and a clean, healthy lifestyle. And we launched the brand with the rebrand in 2015 with a sample box idea that I had to put 5 teas in a box. So we put that on Facebook with a $20 boosted post. And off I went to bed and woke up the next day and thought that the website had somehow been broken because we'd had a 2,000% increase in sales. And I didn't have the tea, I didn't have the boxes, I didn't have the stock. It was some sort of miracle that had happened, but truly it was when my life changed forever. And since that moment in 2015, we've doubled our sales year on year, every year for 5 years, which is quite phenomenal. And I can't believe we continue to do it. But truly, we are a business based and built on Facebook. And I have been fortunate to be a part of the Facebook Small Business Council. I've been to the Sydney Facebook office a few times and learnt direct from them on how to find the perfect customer online. And I've been so grateful for that position, but also being able to give feedback to Facebook on what businesses need on Facebook to grow as well. It's a great partnership being part of that community.
Now, just recently, you moved factories from Byron Bay to Tweed Heads. And in that same week, you won 5 awards at the 2020 Oz Mumpreneur Awards ceremony. So, congratulations. With that in mind, after the last 5 years, what are some of the key insights you've gained around scaling this business?
Thank you. It's been an incredible week, and we haven't stopped scaling in 5 years, and it truly has been a roller coaster. Lots of ups and plenty of downs. But certainly for me, my greatest insight was managing cash flow. Even though we were growing, I didn't always have the cash flow to grow. Prime example was when I moved from my kitchen bench to my garage. That was easy. But my garage to my factory in Byron Bay, that required a lot of cash flow. And I didn't have any working capital. We never took any loans. So we've always been self-funded. So managing the cash flow to move to Byron seemed really easy at the time, but suddenly we had overheads that we weren't used to. And I know that we overcapitalized and grew too quickly at that point. But with no experience really under my belt, it seemed like a good idea at a time. And then flash forward 3 years later, and here we are doubling our size with a 300 square metre factory in Tweed Heads South. But also for me, I think it's working with people who already know more than me. I went through a phase during that same period where I was thinking that I needed to have the answers for every single role and that I needed to wear the hat of every part of the business. I was doing the marketing, I was in charge of the cash flow and the accounting, and being an ex-bookkeeper, I thought I needed to know all of this. And also being a food producer, I had no experience on producing food, and here I was producing $1 million worth of tea a year. But it wasn't until I had done quite a lot of courses in improving my skills that I realized I could just hire people that already had them. And I think that was one of my greatest lessons, was hiring someone to help me with the digital marketing, hiring an SEO manager, hiring a Google manager. I just needed to invest in people that knew more than me and that had those skill sets already.
Jordana, you've also managed to break into international markets. Which ones, and how did that happen?
So we launched Clean Tea UK in 2017, and it's actually a franchise. So I have no part in managing it. We simply supply the product to Elaine in the UK. And it was when she was visiting Australia and saw me speak on International Women's Day and sort of fell in love with my passion for my brand and really felt that the UK could enjoy the same experiences that Australia did. And at that point, we didn't have the physical capacity to produce enough tea to go global in our small factory in Byron Bay because we are a handmade product. So I was quite happy to outsource it to the UK and let them manage the growth. And Elaine's had her own learnings through what works in the UK and what doesn't. And they've found great success over there now, and they're certainly building their own story over there. But also to our sister company, the Breastfeeding Tea Co, that we launched in April of 2020. Now that COVID restrictions on flights is easing slightly as far as international transit, and the times are getting quicker to the US, the Breastfeeding Tea Co is now shipping daily to the US, which is so exciting that we're able to help so many more mums through their breastfeeding journey on an international basis.
Now, we know that there's been a boom during COVID-19 in online sales, but how has the pandemic impacted Clean Tea, your staff, and the way that you run the business?
So I've early mentioned the Breastfeeding Tea Co, and we had started planning that in 2019 because after the birth of my third child, who suffered terribly from colic and reflux, I knew that I needed to ask my mum for help, and she helped me create a tea called Mother's Love, which eases baby's digestion through breast milk when the mother drinks the tea. And then suddenly we had this tea that was 70% of our sales and it had become this miracle product. And I realized that it was my purpose and my passion really to take this opportunity to spread this product worldwide and to be able to help as many women through the same struggles that I'd experienced simply with a cup of tea. And so I threw my heart and soul into creating the Breastfeeding Tea Co for the launch in April 2020, only to have COVID hit. I love that we're a community that only employs mothers, but when they had to homeschool all their children, we also lost all our staff. So producing $1 million turnover of tea with 12 staff was a task alone. I got my hands dirty. I got in and I blended the teas and I packed the teas and we shipped the teas. And somehow, with Joe and Nick by my side, who are my two current managers now, we managed to ship not only all of that tea, we managed to launch the Breastfeeding Tea Co. in the middle of a pandemic. We were able to help hundreds of thousands of new mums, and the staff came back, the schools reopened and restrictions have eased here, and we continue to grow. We've grown our sales. We've now tripled our sales. So I'm so glad that the fear that I felt at the time, we just did it anyway. And to be honest, looking back, it's the best thing that I've ever done.
And last question, Jordana, what advice do you have for business owners or people wanting to start their own business about how to succeed?
Well, I spoke earlier on about branding, and I think that this is particularly important, that you really need to work on our branding. And that was what I learned the second time around with the Breastfeeding Tea Co. was I wanted to create a brand that spoke to our mothers before they even read anything about our product. But more than that, you need to know what your product does and who it helps. It's not about selling. We don't sell our teas to our customers. We simply provide them with solutions. So is it a gift box for your bestie because you love her? Is it a breastfeeding tea for lactation because you've got low milk supply? We just offer solutions. So I think once a business owner understands what their service or their product does, who it helps, then all they need to do is put the solutions in front of people. It's not about selling, particularly in an online space. There's so many opportunities to put your product in front of people on their mobile phones or their desktop, but it's about who and why that you're in business and how you can help. And I wish I'd known that early on, but now that I do, I almost feel unstoppable.
That was Clean Tea founder Jordana Edwards. This episode of Business Essentials Daily is produced by the team at SoundCartel. Thanks for listening. I'm Nicole Goodman. We'll bring you more Be Daily tomorrow. Follow at BE Daily Podcast across social media and head to bedaily.com.au for more from the Business Essentials Daily podcast.
SoundCartel.